about this. He said, I said, what happens when you got a new piece of material? Because mostly you're doing material that you've worked out when you have thousands of people paying a lot of money to see you. He said, it's amazing, David. He said, I will be killing the audience. That's the term, of course. You know, the audience will be going crazy. And I've got the new piece, and I wait, and I try to figure out what the right moment it is, and then I sneak it in. And I said, well, what happens after that? He said, it's like the laughs are like a bathtub draining. There's no laughter for at least 5 minutes. Even with the good material, they could sniff out the new piece of material.
Yes.
And he says, so the only way I get to work this out is on the road.
How good is Louis?
Louis is as good as ever a comedian I've ever seen.
Me too.
Ever.
Me too.
So the way he deals with his kids, the way he deals with his family, the way he deals with life, he is amazing. He's an amazing person.
He is. I totally agree.
Yeah.
He has an acute observation of life.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
But at every level of it.
At every level.
In terms of social issues,
Yes.
in terms of interpersonal things.
Yes. And
in
not
terms
afraid
of just
to
living.
shine light on him that makes him look awful.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about it. He feels everyone has a version of everything. And he's just, I agree with you, he's just amazing.
How do you like interviewing?
I like it. I like
Well,
it.
you've done enough of it.
Yes. Yeah, well,
It's not your first show.
Yeah, Carson trained me with The Tonight Show, so I hosted it so much and all of that. But I love I love exploring comedians. I like to know what they're thinking about. I want to know how they do it.
See, that's exactly what I'm curious about.
Yeah, that's why you're still here, and that's why you're doing so well, and that's why you get up so early in the morning. I keep on thinking, even as you're talking to me, you're so engaging. You're thinking, God, if only I had a pillow and a blanket.
Yes, I need a nap. God help me, I need a nap.
You've had an enviable career.
No, thank you. Thank you. So what did Carson tell you about doing his show?
Well,
Does he give instructions, or just say?
No. Well, I'll tell you, we used to have lunch together. And Peter LaSalle would join us.
Oh, yeah,
the legendary executive producer and a very close friend of mine to this day. So we'd have lunch, and we'd have fun. And I'd be funny, and Johnny'd be funny, and then I'd go on, and it wouldn't be that funny. And then we noticed that after about 3 lunches, and Johnny said, no more lunches.
Yeah.
No more lunches. So we never talked to each other before the show.
Yeah.
And then it was just see what happens.
And Jon Stewart's now retiring.
Jon Stewart?
Not retiring, he's leaving the Daily Show.
As Johnny was a great loss, Jon Stewart is a great loss. He's an amazing host, an amazing comic mind. You see John in front of an audience, and no matter who the comedians are, Seinfeld, Larry David, all that, John is as good as anybody. He's just an amazing comedy man.
And it's my impression is the following, that that Jon Stewart, like Johnny, wanted to see you at your best.
Yes.
And was going to do something, in a sense, to help you bring the best out of you.
It's the opposite of bad rap that most comedians have, is that their ego is bad, they're, negative and all of that. You're a student of your own craft, and that makes you pretty good.
You have changed your notion that every comedian comes from some painful childhood.
Yeah, I mean, it is a cliche.
Yeah.
That...
And cliches are not always right.
Yeah, cliches are not always accurate. But although, if you've had a really great life and a little money in the bank, you might not make the best comedian.
Because you may not be hungry.
You've got to be hurt a little.
Should be 11:05.
I don't know where hunger comes from. But you've got to be hungry to be the best at anything, whether it's athletics, or comedy, journalism, politics.
You're drawing on the sadness of your life and making it a celebration in some way for yourself.
Or some sense of, there's also this sense of people who have been on the outside looking in.
Yes.
And they want to be... Yes. They want a clearer view.
Yes. Well, people always say, why are all these comedians from Canada?
Why is that?
Because when you grow up in Canada, which
there is America,
you're looking at the window to America, and the best prerequisites for character in a comedian is to be an outsider and an insider at the same time. So all of us in Canada, we grew up watching, oh God, there's Groucho and Jack Benny, there's radio in my day and all of that. And then you get to the States, and then you're on the inside of everything, and you could explore what's going on and all of that. And I think that's a little bit of my version of a theory of what.
I have this other theory, which is that while comedians can be competitive with each other, they kind of like each other and respect each other because they share the effort.
Yes.
And even hang out with each other.
Yeah, comedians they're a herd. A herd. They're a strong community all the way through.
Thank you to Charlie Rose and his guest, David Steinberg. A reminder, you can watch Charlie Rose on Bloomberg Television weeknights at 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. in high definition on Verizon Fios Channel 604. We're glad you're spending your Sunday morning at our brunch with Charlie Rose on Bloomberg Radio.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
The rocket launched into the air.
And then crashed into the pond.
I'll never forget.
Never mind, it should be 11:01.
Hey, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health.
Nothing we can't handle.
Adopt U.S. Kids and the Ad Council.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. We've been hearing a lot lately about Internet.org, net neutrality, and free Internet for more people, all pushed by Facebook and CEO Mark Zuckerberg. The latest entry is Internet.org platform for mobile, or a place for Facebook to work with developers to develop free basic services.
When is he calling?
Is it for you, or is it for someone else?
Every business trip starts with a choice. Stay or go. You can press send or press palms. Start a chat room or chat in an actual room. Just remember, this country wasn't built...
Okay. So you're going to run the show today, basically.
Went to their people and things got done. And if you're one of those business people, there's a range of choice hotels like Comfort Inn for every type of business trip.
Should I stay or should I go?
You always have a choice. Book now at choicehotels.com.
iHeartRadio salutes Who Cares? Teen Cancer America, founded by Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend of The Who. Roger Daltrey.
Well, the music business would not exist today without the support of teenagers. They've been totally overlooked within the system, and we're out to change that. It's very difficult to get them to open up about their fears. By putting them together, the best psychologist for a teenager is another teenager.
Join Roger and Pete. Learn how you can help make life a little easier for teens battling cancer. Visit teencanceramerica.org.
News, traffic, weather, every 10 minutes from 6 a.m. until 3 p.m. 1230 WBCT.
West Palm Beach.
Weather every 10 minutes on 1230 WBCT.
This report is streamed live on our iHeartRadio app. Download it now.
It's going to be a gorgeous Mother's Day. We'll have sunny skies and only a few late afternoon showers. It'll be hot, though. Highs today will approach 90 degrees, and we'll be dealing with heat indices in the mid-90s.
He's on the line, one.
Week 2, and we'll have better rain chances come midweek. I'm Storm Team 5 meteorologist Tyler Malden for 1230 WBZT.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. Ever wonder where your charitable donations are really going? At Unbound, you'll know who you're helping and what impact you're having on their life. Connecting people who care with people in need around the world. Learn more at unbound.org.
A few days ago, Brooke Tudine posted an inspirational quote on her wall that got 17 likes and 3 comments. Thumbs up, Brooke. Geico also wants to make a comment. In just 15 minutes, you could save hundreds of dollars on your car insurance by switching to Geico. And nothing says inspiration better than saving money. Well, except for those posters that say things like teamwork, excellence, and make it happen. Hashtag keep climbing. Hashtag savings.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Our iHeartRadio app. Here's another little sample.
Let's go!
Fireball.
Ladies! Chewing gum! Help! Red Solo Cup.
music and radio in one free app. Create your own custom stations. Listen to the best live radio stations across the country. Open our iHeartRadio app today. Or listen online at iHeartRadio.com. Brian.
Just make sure it's muted so when he calls, it isn't over it. No, not that. His phone. Or the Skype.
And not those of Clear Channel.
Because I can hear the feed.
Hi, it's Leah, here to tell you about Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. He's a pain specialist located in southern Palm Beach County, so if you or somebody that you know is suffering in pain, Dr. Pannozzo is the one you guys need to call. And make that call today, because living in pain is no way to go through life. Dr. Pannozzo has been in practice now for more than 49 years. He's treated more than 73,000 patients for pain. He's an expert when it comes to diagnosing the pain, and he has had huge turnarounds. In fact, people with living with scoliosis, he has had nearly a 100% turnaround. Lumbar pain as well. If you've got lower back pain, if you're suffering with migraines or flat feet pain, maybe pain in your elbows, your neck, your shoulders, Dr. Pannozzo can help you. And the greatest thing is he can help you without drugs, without surgery, and without having to go through weeks and months of rehabilitation. Give him a call today. Set up an appointment. It's 561-381-5800. Tune into his show Sundays, 11 to noon.
And now, here's this week's edition of the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour.
Wow.
We're on.
Hello?
Mr. Les, you're on.
Hey, guys, what's going on?
How are you, Mr. Les?
I'm doing good. Hey, Freddy, how's it feel to sit in my seat?
It's a little lumpy.
well, let me tell you, you got to admit one thing. It's technology unbelievable. Here I am up in Atlanta. You guys are sitting there, and we could do our show.
Isn't that unbelievable? Well, why don't you start the show, Mr. Les?
Well, I want to tell you something, guys. This is really amazing. Hey, Dr. Pannozzo, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I found my way up here. A little late, though.
Did you have your breakfast?
Yes.
Okay. You know, I'm doing some research, and it's very funny. Something that you've always said, and one of the things that Freddy always said. Freddy, you guys heard of Yasso Puig for the LA Dodgers?
Yes.
He was just admitted into for an MRI, and the MRI for his lower back showed that there was nothing wrong with him. You know why?
Why?
His problem was in his ankle.
Oh. So they went at the back.
Pannozzo, all that stuff that you have talked about, MRIs as one-dimensional, it's proving now that everything that you have said over the years is true about MRIs.
Yeah, but they won't give Dr. Pannozzo the credit, you know that.
No, which I don't understand. I mean, here they're diagnosing with the guy. Now, if anyone wants to go to the website, you could go to medpage.com. You can read all this about what I'm saying now. MRI showed there was absolutely no pain at all. And it was in his leg instead. So, Dr. Pannozzo, what do you think about that?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
You're talking about a baseball player.
Yeah, a baseball player.
It was misdiagnosed.
Misdiagnosed.
They thought it was his back.
Well, you could easily tell that. If you can bend forward and backwards, there's nothing wrong with your back.
Well, the MRI said the same thing. There was nothing wrong with his back, and they found out later it was the hamstring.
Well, it wasn't the hamstring.
That's just another pain of a real pain.
That's from the back, though,
right.
The hamstring.
Yeah.
But you said ankle, right?
Oh no, I read it wrong. I'm on the website now. It was a hamstring.
And a hamstring is another indicator to something else, correct?
Yeah, it's L5S1. It's a joint, and it hurts right down the hamstring. And it could hurt in the foot, though. We talked about this before.
But this is what I have.
It's a referred pain. Yeah.
Well, here's what the article said also, which is something that Dr. Pannozzo has said many times. The MRI is anything but a step forward. He has been dealing with this injury since April. Now, if anyone wants to go and read the same article that I'm talking about, you can go to dailynews.com. And right now, it's very funny. There are 15 players, both in the NBA and in baseball, that are suffering from the pains, and the MRI is not showing where the pain is coming from, so they're going in for other tests.
Yeah, well, see, these doctors don't understand where pain comes from. They don't know how to diagnose, and that's the truth. They're probably terrific at what they do, but diagnosing a pain takes expertise, which is what I'm offering people. This is no fly-by-night stuff. This is real. This is very solid. And I wish, Les, we treat a lot of people from this program. I wish they'd call in and say if they did well or not. We don't screen the calls. So if you did good, call in and say, I did good. Then, otherwise, you can complain.
If you did bad, call in and let us know that too.
Yeah, we'd like to know.
Yeah, and it's very funny. As everyone ought to know by now, I do a lot of research, and I came upon an article by Synops UCSF.education, and it talked about carpal tunnel syndrome. And after reading 17 pages of this thing, it came to what was really important. And here's what they said: before you go in for any surgery, avoid complications by seeking alternative measures first.
What is that? Alternative measures. What's that?
Go to different doctors and find out whether or not you really have carpal tunnel syndrome, and do not let them do surgery. So anyone out there who is suffering from carpal tunnel syndrome, call 561-381-5800.
That's
Dr. Pannozzo's number, and find out how you can prevent going in for surgery.
I see.
There's a method to my madness, Doc. I can't see you right face to face, but I think after all these years, you know the way I work. Basically what they're saying is, as many of these articles say, do not go in for surgery if you don't have to go in for surgery, and seek doctors that could help you. And they're very down on any kind of medications for any kind of surgery. So, I mean, this to me is an amazing thing. All the years that we've been talking about this, everything has come to fruition now. People are realizing that they should not go in for surgery.
Well, they slowly realize what I'm saying is from experience.
Yeah.
As a real scientist, I mean, this is really good stuff, and what we're talking about all the time. And you'll see the proof later on. The MRI and any X-ray is a view of the problem in time. So, just this minute. Now, tomorrow may not be true.
Right.
So you can't make a diagnosis based on that. That only helps you. The diagnosis comes right from here. If you don't have it here, you can't make it. Huh?
You're pointing at your head.
I'm tapping my brain here.
See, I can't see it tapping, Doc.
You can't see it.
Hey, listen. And by the way, you can watch today's show on Pannozzo.tv. That's PANNOZZO.tv. It's also on M2.tv as well as BZT. And the call-in number, which Les, you did not give out.
Call number is 1-800-889-0267. We challenge everybody out there because we want to know when you've gone to Dr. Pannozzo, if everything was what you were told it would be. I mean, the one thing we always tell people: if you come in with a pain in your shoulder, Dr. Pannozzo is going to find out where that pain is, and he's going to take care of it. Don't call me up and say you have a pain in your knee now. That the shot didn't work because he didn't take care of your knee.
Yeah, that's right. Only what we were aiming at the time. That's true.
Well, Dr. Pannozzo, as everyone knows right now, we have 2 radio stations. We've been on ZZR for quite a long time, and we are now on BZT. If you could just do me a favor, and the people that are tuning in for the first time on BZT, I know it's a holiday today. I want you to tell how you go about when a patient comes into your office. I know you give them those pages to show where the pain is. Now they come into your office. Go through the steps for all these new listeners out there. What you do to diagnose where you feel the pain is. Well, actually, where you know the pain is.
Well, first of all, you have to find out what the complaint is.
Right.
So I have to guide the complaint a lot of times. They'll say, well, my whole back hurts me. I said, no, bring it down to a side. I got to make it easy for me. So that's the history. Where does it go? When does it do that? Why is it uncomfortable for you? You have to take a history, but the questions that we ask are based on the physiology of the area. Mm-hmm. If it's lower back, it's aimed at that. If it's a neck, it's aimed at that. And the questions will be different. Then we do an examination, find out where the pain actually is. And usually I can tell them before we leave the examining room where that pain's from. I said, let's go take a film that we do, and then we take the picture and we see the area that we already diagnosed. We don't use the x-ray for diagnosis. See, that's the first thing you have to understand. In musculoskeletal pain, you can't use the x-ray for diagnosis. It is only to help you. You got to have it, but it's only to help, not the diagnosis. Diagnosis comes from the pain pattern and the clinical exam. You have to know what you're doing with that. And then we point out where the problem is and what we have to do for it. And they say, okay, let's do it. I say, it's 2 shots. You want them? Yes. We do that. Yeah, this is true.
I don't want them, Doc. I just came in to see if you want to go to lunch. Okay, go ahead.
So a lot of times they say no, which means somebody wants narcotics or something, which we don't prescribe anything like that. If I know where the pain's from, why would I prescribe anything else except what we do to take the pain out? If that's what you want, we can do that. So it's a man-to-man thing, It's a respect situation. If you come in to get help, I'm going to do that. And if you say no, well, I don't know what to tell you after that. But so that's it. Then we do what we're going to do, and then check it. 2 or 3 minutes later, 5 minutes later, and if that pain's still there, we go back and look at it again. If not, you're free to go home. And so then people ask me, do I have to come back? I say, only if you have a pain. If you don't have a pain, don't come back. We treat painful problems here. So anyway, that's the whole thing in a nutshell.
That, I always tell people, and I've been telling this many times on the radio, if you're skeptical, go into Dr. Pannozzo's office. Just walk in there and see what the people are saying. I have not seen a person yet, and I go back and forth to the office many times, and they're looking at me like, I don't care how long I wait. This guy's amazing. I mean, Freddy, you remember the first time we went there, you and I, we saw the guy, that big heavyset guy who was just using like a cane, but when he first got started, he was telling you and me the story that he started. Now he's able to walk, which he was never able to do before.
That was how could
anyone ever dispute something like that?
Well, I have a question for Dr. Pannozzo. You've been doing this how many years?
I think it's 52.
Okay, so at the beginning when you started this to today, it has evolved, yes?
The treatments, the evaluation, the diagnosis, cause and effect relationship, what's causing what symptom, that's all evolved, and they don't teach it. They don't just teach it that way.
So 20 years ago when you were doing these things, the science wasn't as perfected as it is today, like in anything else, correct?
Not as good, but that's how progress is made.
Exactly. So, because we get a lot of stuff from Survey Monkeys, and they say, well, when you were in Ohio, now how long has it been that you've been in Ohio?
Let's see, 2004 was last.
Okay, so we're talking about 11, 12 years?
Yeah.
All right, so would you say that 11 to 12 years ago to today, it's changed today? It's gotten much better.
Absolutely. We don't do the same thing we did 10 years ago.
That's the point I'm trying to get to, because a lot of people write in that they saw you in Ohio, it wasn't that good, yada, yada, yada. But today, things have been perfected.
But things change, and you have to come around and see what else is new if you have the same problem.
There you go.
And if we still don't get MRIs, we still do the examinations, we still do special films, but the results are much better. They've been getting better and better and better over the years.
Exactly. So I just want people to know out there that if you have talked to people about Dr. Pannozzo 12 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, the science is not the same.
Right, and we're also, the ideas of where pain comes from is changing, too. Now I think
not only that, Dr. Pannozzo, you and your son, who is also an expert in this field, much younger than you naturally, and together you guys are on the phone every day talking about new advances in the type of medicine that you do.
Yes, that's true. The evaluations are different. Now we're turning bones now. I don't know if you understand.
Well, we saw that with scoliosis.
Well, we do it for scoliosis, but the person has a pain a long time. It's because the structure that's causing the pain, the annulus, is being misused. Now, you don't know anything about this. You have to interpret this. You have to look at it. Those are the ideas, though. So the idea is the current way we do things, I think that's the end of it. We know exactly how a pain comes from, where it comes from, how you get it, and how you take care of it. And most people are really, really satisfied with that. And
you know what I want to do, Dr. Pannozzo? I know Freddy is there, and he's an expert in everything when it comes to the website and his son. Between the two of them, I'd like to do an article debunking what the people say that scoliosis can't be cured. You know, we have documented proof that scoliosis can be cured. I think this is something that the world has to know. I think we should do something, Freddie, and put it on Facebook. Let them know that that this man can cure a disease that everyone says you can't be cured. And we have documented proof with more than one person, more than two people, that he has actually cured scoliosis. I think that people should know this.
Yeah, we do it every day. I mean, you see, here's the problem. I don't have an affiliation with a university or a big name. And that's what you need to get something like this published, because this is so radical from what's being taught that the experts all over the world say you cannot treat scoliosis. Yet, Freddie, and you saw it, right? Yeah. You saw it right there.
We have it documented.
We're treating people for that, and they're getting straighter and straighter. And anytime anybody wants to see this happen, just call me up, and I'll bring you in.
Yeah, we'll show you the X-rays, but not only that, is that lady, Freddie, there was another lady that I walked in. I was taking Dr. Pannozzo to lunch. I don't know her name, and I don't want to give her name over the radio because I don't have permission to do that. She must have been, I would say, oh my God, she had to be in the 80s, maybe, that little short lady that said she's been straightening up every time she comes in for a shot. And to me, true. When someone says, how can that it can't be cured, why don't we show people, Freddie and Dr. Pannozzo?
Well, these people who are saying that, those people who are saying that don't know how to do it. They're telling you they don't know how to do it. They can't answer for me. No. I mean, that's kind of stupid, isn't it? Somebody's answering for me. I answer for myself.
We've got X-rays up the kazoo showing that is curable.
Well, on that point, nothing here is scripted. I had dinner with a family member. I can't use her name. I asked her to call.
No, don't use anyone's name. That's correct.
But she used to be the head of Scoliosis of America, because when she was diagnosed many years ago, she thought that was the only cure, and they cut all of her vertebrae and stuck 6 rods on her back.
I know, it's gruesome.
But it wasn't so much about her physicality. What happened to her mentally is what she was explaining to me over dinner. The anguish, it changed her as a person. So at the end of dinner, I asked her a very simple question: would you ever recommend anybody to put in rods? And she said, I quit being the president of the society, and I go around telling people, do not have surgery. Do not put those rods in. And she still has them. She has no choice.
Nobody will take them out. You can get paid well for putting them in, but not for taking them out.
But the vertebrae is all cut, Doc. What would happen? You have to fuse them?
Well, it would take care of more or less by itself. It'd be okay if they took them out. But what I have to do is it's like a fusion when they put 6 screws in the vertebra.
Right.
I have to go around that to reduce the pain, because the pain is going to be there. It's inflammation, and so we've developed all these methods to take this out. But the latest stuff we do is the best, and it is world class. It is the best. There's nobody in the world does what we're doing, and
that's important to know.
Here's a question I always wanted. I know you're dealing with a couple of 15-year-old girls that you're curing. What happens if a 15-year-old young lady, I should call them, not girls, young lady goes in and gets the rods put in? As she's getting older and growing, does she have to go in for another surgery to accommodate her growth?
No, the idea is that they want to prevent the curve from getting worse, so they put the rods in. But that's the wrong idea. The idea is, how do you reverse the curve? Not prevent it from getting worse, but you're going to reverse it. Now, when you think right, now if you posit the right ideas, then the solutions will come based on that. But if you have the wrong ideas, you have no solution for it. You can see the difference. So that's what we're doing. And the younger kids, they go really fast. I remember one girl from Coconut Creek, I think, in that area. Her dad wanted her to come in. I saw her. She had this curve. I said, well, it's going to take a few shots in there because you have scar tissue holding the bones, and they'll reverse. And well, she didn't do it till she was going away to university. And she wanted to get it done then. We had 2 weeks. We fixed her right up. She's pretty straight, and went off to school. And she wants to be an engineer.
Was that the girl? Was that the? I don't remember. Was that the girl whose father called up Leah and thanked him on the air for recommending Dr. Pannozzo? Was that the same girl?
Well, we don't know about that.
Who knows?
Yeah,
There's so many that come and go. Hey, listen, guys, can we talk football?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Can we talk NFL football?
Yes.
Well, wait, before you talk NFL football, I want to give people the option to look at what it is. Go to Pannozzo, PANNOZZO.TV, or go to am2.tv, and I want you to look at the x-rays of people who have suffered from scoliosis who went to Dr. Pannozzo. Then I want you to go to scoliosis.net and look at what you have to go through in order to fix scoliosis. Look at them yourself. Don't believe me. Don't believe Dr. Pannozzo. I'll give you the websites to look at. It's on the internet. Look at them and then make your decision. Go ahead, Freddy. I'm sorry.
What I want to know is what difference does it make if the football is soft or not?
Oh, deflate gate?
It's still the guy who's. It's still.
Doc, let me tell you.
No, it's the guy who's throwing it that counts.
Let me tell you something. I used to be a quarterback coach. And there was a guy on the team one time. He was on the team for 8 years. Everybody loved him. He had a big rep. And he was throwing the ball late. And he was leading the league in interceptions. And they brought me to go talk to him. And he would not change. An NFL guy like Brady, all you give him is that little edge. In the rain, he has an advantage. That's what they're saying. You don't need an advantage. As small as that is, everybody hates Brady anyway.
Really?
Everybody hates the Patriots because they're so successful. Nobody likes the Yankees. Right?
Well, anyway, I think the whole thing is craziness.
Deflategate. They're going to suspend him maybe for a year.
They'll try to hire a guy who falls right in the middle of the field and has an ACL tear. Now, tell me how that works.
Well, that's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to talk about.
I watched that.
You
guy.
Watched
They had a film clip on my computer.
The Jaguars play. I'll take that.
Watch him fall. And I said, "You can't get hurt that way. What the hell are they talking about?" Well, the problem is they hired him with the problem.
There you go. That's what they're saying. He always had the problem.
That's what it is, and they're not examining right. These orthopedic surgeons don't know how to examine. This is a musculoskeletal pain here that they have, and they're examining for surgery. Now, who is examining these players when they're bought, and they're bought for millions of dollars? Are you kidding me? I don't know. I don't get it.
I was told they take the leg and they turn it to a certain degree until the pain comes, and he says, okay. And based on that test, Doc, they say good or bad. Can you imagine? So obviously it doesn't work because this guy must have had that, and he turned the leg, and boom.
No, there's more to it than that, and they don't get it because who's examining him is not the doctors, it's the trainers. And the trainers are not trained for this. I don't care how much money they pay them. They're not trained in the proper way for this.
No, they're not.
And yet the owners keep shelling out.
Well,
I've never seen anything so crazy in my life. It's just mismanagement is what it is.
You know what I think it is? I think this is what they've been doing for so many years, that someone's coming along who's only been doing this for 52 years and could actually show with documentation how everything you're saying. You know, the one thing you and I have learned, Doc, we won't say anything unless we have knowledge of what it really does. For example, we won't talk about scoliosis and that you could cure it unless we could show cases. It's not one case. It's not two cases. It's quite a few cases.
It's everybody we treat. I mean, anybody.
And, it's funny, I was in the park yesterday with my family when I called doctor to see how he was feeling, and they had yoga classes there. And I'm watching the movements that these guys and gals are making, and they're doing these things where you push your back up all the way up and you touch your heels. And I'm saying to myself, I don't think the body is supposed to move like that. I wouldn't have said that until I met you. I mean, there was an article in medpage.com that says don't try to, let me go, things that you should not do for pain. Therapy, massage therapy, yoga for back pain. And that article was in spinehealth.com. So if you want to read the 36 pages that I had to read last night and this morning, saying that these things do not work for pain.
Well, what about that boxer?
What? These are yoga instructors that don't know where the source of the pain comes from.
Yeah, what's
Pacquiao.
Pacquiao.
Yeah.
He didn't take a shoulder treatment because it's not permitted. But an anti-inflammatory does not show anything. You can't test for it. It's just, and it's short acting. So he could have had that treatment the day before and it would be gone by the time he was boxing. And
no, he could have had your treatment.
Yeah, my treatment.
The regular treatment takes 3 weeks. That's why he didn't cancel.
What?
Yeah.
He'll be out for a year.
Rotator cuff injury. It could be 6 months.
But see, there's no way you can have a rotator cuff injury.
Doc, they just operated it 2 days ago.
I know.
So he's out for 6 months. Now
the whole thing is really craziness. I mean, it's just crazy.
But he got a bigger problem. There's a class action lawsuit that was announced for fraud. Class action. That means if you bought a $100 cable package, you can join this lawsuit and get your money back.
Oh my
we happen to live in a litigious country.
This is the fallout from not having good medical
That's right.
practice.
That's right. And they're saying that he took all these drugs and stuff to make him stronger, and that's why everything in his body's breaking apart. That's why Mayweather didn't want to fight him in the first place.
I don't know who's advising these people, but I'll tell you something. They're not worth their weight in gold. Believe me.
But it's so funny because it's all coming to light, it's floating to the surface, all of the nonsense.
Actually, I think, based on the fact that I'm doing it, I think the people in this area that we're in, Delray and surrounding, are getting the best medical care that's available. I truly believe that, and I keep my eyes and ears open. I know what's going on out there. And when I see this kind of thing happens with this fighter and this diagnosis of, I don't know, just from falling in the field, I mean, the medicine is not good out there. But in this area, you're getting the best there is. And I mean it.
Well, we should go to Jacksonville. We should go to Jacksonville and talk to the Jaguars because that was the number 3 draft pick. That hurt himself.
Well,
you can't break it through. You can't break it from the
player, Aaron Cruden, he had a ruptured ACL, and they're operating on it. Now, Doc, is that possible to get a ruptured ACL?
What's a rupture?
No, it's not possible.
What is it?
I remember we spoke about people that
how would you get it?
I mean, it just sounds ridiculous. Only because I have seen one of the things that I keep telling people. I had a friend who was supposed to go in for 2 knee surgeries. The first knee surgery, he said, was killed him. He was in such pain. He came in, and I said, "Why don't you take a shot while you're here?" He said, "Okay." Took 2 shots. I have since seen him over. That's been like 8 months ago. He did not have to go in for that second surgery. Now, why is that? One doctor gives him surgeries in pain. Dr. Pannozzo gives him, I think, 2 shots, and the doctor said, "Well, I don't know what happened, but I don't see any problem with that knee. What'd you do?" He said, "Oh, I went to see this doctor." He said, "Miracle, I guess." It's not a miracle. It's real.
These guys are just sitting there in their little white coat, and their scrub outfits, and they think they know everything. They don't know everything, believe me.
But it's people that give them
I know everything.
People give them the power, Doc.
You know everything.
People believe
very good, Doc.
what they're told. So, it's people giving them power.
Hey, they deserve the respect, but they themselves should inquire first. You don't have an opinion unless you have knowledge first. I mean, my opinion is worth quite a bit, but at least I have a background to give it. People who are criticizing what we do don't have a background.
You went to Ohio State, a very prestigious college, one of the best in the country. You interned. You did everything that you're supposed to do as a medical physician. What made you go into this type of medicine where I guess you could say it's new, but you've been doing it for 52 years, so it's really not new. But it's been able to help so many. I think like 79,000 people have been cured from sicknesses and diseases without going in for surgery.
Well, because there was an opportunity. It was not a section of medicine that was served well. So I figured, as a young guy come out of school, I said, "Where's my best opportunity?" So this was it. Anyway, I think in terms of weight bearing, physics, cause and effect relationships, and that's how you diagnose these things. It's not by MRIs at all. Don't ever do that. And people come to my window with their folder and their MRI and poking in my nose, except I don't want to see an MRI. I want to find out what's wrong with you before that. So you get an opinion that's my own. You don't get somebody else's opinion, and that's what they're using MRIs for. So I don't like to be tainted. You're getting first class thinking on your pain problems. So we don't want to disturb the thought until after we examine you and find out what's wrong with you. Then we can look at that. But and also remember, an MRI or any X-ray, any procedure is a point in time, which is a go, not today. So anyway, that's the philosophy you have to know. So you're getting an opinion that is my own and no one else's.
Well, not only that, if people want to find out about what MRIs really do and what they're really good for, they could go to medpage.com. And one of the things medpage.com said, I'm only giving you excerpts, which I want you to go to the website yourself, medpage.com, to show you that what we're saying is true. It said one of the things it said an MRI is one-dimensional. And it also, I don't know if you knew this, Doc, but MRIs come with a lot of risks for people that forget to tell doctors that they have maybe a stent that are. I want people. I don't want to say anything. I want people to go to that website, look at them themselves. I think it's time for us. Freddie, you have a bunch of questions because I have 75 questions that we haven't answered yet.
I got a question that just came in that I wanted to read.
Go ahead.
Dr. Schaefer writes, I have seen your show a number of times and would like to ask, a current football player picked in the top 5 of the NFL draft recently was just diagnosed with an ACL tear. He is going to miss the entire season. Is your position that with your anti-inflammatory method, this player will be able to play in 3 days and the knee will be and stay stable?
Yes. Why?
Why?
That's why you have to ask me next. Why?
Why?
Because you can't hurt an ACL. So what this player has is capsular pain first. There's a capsule that holds the bones together. That's what gets injured. You can't get to the ACL unless you get through the capsule.
Correct.
And so how do you get it?
How do you damage it?
How do you get to the ACL? They're not repairing the capsule. No.
They're repairing the ligament.
You see, it makes no common sense to me, or medical sense, that you can hurt an MRI, you can have a ligament like that injured when you have protection outside. That ACL is on the inside. So how do you get to here when you're dealing with all this?
How can you see it?
You can't see me. You can't see it. It's very small.
I know, but they make these holes, incision, new tendon goes in there.
I think the whole thing is baloney. I don't understand it.
Even if you turn the knee all the way to a 90-degree angle, you can't see inside, can you?
Well, no, you can't. And I have examined the literature on that and the anatomy, and the whole thing is treatable. You don't have to have any surgery with that.
That's amazing.
It's not to have surgery.
Shoot me if you can. That's my opinion.
I know people have gone in for surgery and they've come out worse. I'm not going to mention the name, but you and I know someone that has gone in for 2 hips and 1 knee surgery, and he's in worse. He said to me, quote, I dread the day I went and had this done.
That's true, and we try not to have them do it. I say, look, you can always get that done. Try this first. If this doesn't work in a couple of days, then go ahead, do what you want. But give yourself the opportunity of getting the best thinking, the best approach for this that it's possible to get.
Now, can you imagine if you have a key person in your company? I'm talking football, I'm talking about a business. And they have an alleged ACL tear, and they can't be at the job. I mean, I'm just talking the common guy. And the business suffers because he's not there or she's not there.
Everything suffers. Look at the amount of money it takes to fix an ACL. You're talking about a huge amount of money. Off time for a year. What do you need a year for? Tell me that. That's what I'd like to know.
They're going to rehab. They're going to do the operation. I think he's scheduled for Wednesday.
What's the rehab do? What do you think that is?
Well, they're going to wait till the inflammation goes down, and they're going to put him to strengthen the leg.
He's not weak.
If people don't believe what we're saying, they can go to the Journal of American Medical Association and hit the icon that says knee surgery. And they said 102,000 knee surgeries are performed in the United States that do not have to be performed.
Look,
this is not me. Go to you can just go just read it. I mean, there was a guy many years ago called Cy Sims, and he said, "An educated consumer is my best customer."
Yeah, well, the educated...
Educate yourself, folks. It's your body.
Yes, but the literature is not me. I'm better than the literature.
Well, you know what? If people think that Dr. Pannozzo is talking as being arrogant, he should be. Let me tell you why. Come in one day, sit in the office, don't even put your name down, and just casually talk to these people. These are your peers. These are the people that have gone through his procedure. And you're going to hear some of them that have gone the other route before. They've gone in through surgery. They've taken medications that have screwed up other parts of their body. Why go through it? Research. My wife once told me, don't take this as anything as a gospel. What you do is you go and find out. It's your body. You have the right to do whatever you want, but you have a right to say to a doctor, "Hey, you know what? I think you're wrong." That's okay.
Let's start a crusade, Les.
Yeah, get us another question.
Let's start a crusade. Let's get people together and let's fight back.
Don't
pay these outrageous numbers.
We were talking about SurveyMonkey. Let me see. Oh, Johnny. No, I don't want that one. Okay. Jordan writes from SurveyMonkey, I understand how your procedure removes the pain from skeletal issues. My question is, will reducing pain in the area stop and cure the problem that is created? And how stable will the area be once you have removed the pain? Say a knee or an ankle. These are some educated people calling up. I appreciate
good.
that.
I appreciate that. And I wish more of them would do it. No, once that pain's gone, the range of motion is normal, you're normal.
Okay. And Alicia writes from SurveyMonkey, are there any side effects of the medicine you use? Can someone be allergic to something you are using?
No, that we use that for allergies, so you can't be allergic to it.
Okay, wow.
Hold on, I got to go one.
I guess we're not going to take a break today. The questions are coming in, so we're going to
Hold on, I got to go one.
Is everyone okay? You're rested? You don't need a break?
No,
he's good. He wants to get going. I got a gentleman from Tucson. He's a talk show host, but I'm not going to say the radio station.
No, don't.
He says, I see your son is out here. Wanted to ask if his procedures and your procedures are the same. I have pain in my legs and was told it's sciatica. What does that mean? And can you give me information and will his treatment, will he treat me the same way you would?
Yes.
So it's actually the same. Same philosophy. He's a lot younger than you.
Yeah, I trained him.
Well, he may have another way of looking at a knee.
No, he doesn't.
You see it round, he sees it square.
No, he doesn't. No.
Okay. If you have any more, Freddy, because I got a bunch to do.
Go ahead,
please, by all means, ask them.
Go ahead, keep going.
Okay, Anna from Shoutout writes, I've been in... Oh, I'm sorry, I took that one. I apologize. Jody from VK.com writes, let's see, my 10-year-old son had a bad fall from playing in school, and I've been told he has a groin pull. And let's see, and being that he's only 10, will your procedure work? Will it do anything for the future for him? You want me to answer this one, Doc?
Well, go ahead.
Jody, if you're watching it on VK, I had the problem. I knew that I was told by friends of mine, go see an orthopedic surgeon. You'll go for physical therapy. 2 shots. 2 shots. And not only was the groin pull taken care of, 2 shots, let me keep saying that again, did not hurt, did not get red, did not get any irritation. As I was in Dr. Pannozzo's office, I felt about 75% better. By the time I left, I was 100%. Woke up the next morning, and I was fine. I think this is going back maybe 5 or 6 months ago. Do not have any problems with my groin. Do not have any problems with any part of my body. So, yes, it is 110% effective.
Yeah, there's five sources of pain in the small groin. And usually a young person like that is very well treated with just deep heat, if you know where to put it.
Wow.
And yeah, they do very, very well with that. The younger people that we treat do.
Since I can't take medication, which is even better for me.
Yeah.
And you know what? I had a pain. I woke up one day with a shoulder, and Dr. Pannozzo was always talking to me about take 2 aspirin, take 2 aspirin, and everyone said, "Well, you can't take aspirin because you got Crohn's disease." No, my doctor said take 2 aspirin. I mean, so. And one of the worst things out for and this is education, folks. Tylenol is not that great.
What?
It can hurt your liver.
Tylenol, no, Tylenol doesn't do the job at all.
Okay. Well,
all right, I got one from a new website, Shout, which is a rodeo
Go ahead,
website.
you go.
Jackson writes from Shout, as a rodeo rider, I need to use my hands and knees to accomplish my trade. I have pain in my shoulder and neck and was told, probably by his trainers, that it's from the twerking on the bull. He's being twerked over.
Well, that's the cause of it, but what actually is it?
But this is his question. But my hands and wrists are killing me. Could that be related? So he's trying to relate hands and wrists to the neck.
No.
They've given him painkillers, but that wears off.
It's probably not. Probably the way they work, so he could have a wrist pain. Easily treated, easily diagnosed. The neck can cause pain in the arm, but you need an arm to go with it. I mean, it can't just be neck and wrist from the neck.
But can it be related?
It could. Well, it's all related to injury. Yeah, sure.
So he's walking around with an injury. He doesn't realize it.
You're right.
Right.
Which is important. All right, let's get.
Okay, let's see. Sue from VK writes, my 2 daughters are age 11 and 6, have had bad backs from a car accident that happened 3 years ago. They are lucky to be alive, but the main problem is they walk with harsh pain. I've tried everything to help them and was told that they would need surgery to repair discs in their back. Hoping to hear some kind of positive news.
There's no reason why anybody.
Here's what we've always spoken about. I was told by the doctors they have a bulging disc in the lower back from the crash.
Anybody hear me?
I hear you. Does it say how young they are?
Let's see. One girl is 11 and the other girl is 6.
Oh my God, no! They're probably going to chiropractors. Don't do that. And if they're in the area, I'll be glad to see them at any time.
Did you say that? Did I hear the word chiropractor out of you just now?
No, I'd say.
Well. I'm not going to get into chiropractors, even though I have 9,000 pages about chiropractors, all backed up by doctors. I refuse to talk about it now because if you go into them and you think they're God,
But these young girls.
God made woman. That's all I have to say. Okay, so
these young girls can be treated. There's no problem with it whatsoever.
Okay, now Hazel from Facebook writes, I've been told that a good diet and oral anti-inflammatories will reduce pain in the inflamed areas of the body. Then I was told you cannot do anything about arthritis. My upper back hurts all the time and nothing about a diet or oral anti-inflammatories work. Why do doctors continue to give the wrong information if they know this doesn't work?
They don't know that. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
You have to be the judge of what treatment you're getting, if it works or not. If you give it a few days, if it doesn't work, that's not the right thing for you. You can't retrain somebody who's out of school. You can complain all you want. But if they don't know it already, I mean, what do you complain about? Don't criticize the doctor all the time. We all have different experiences. We all have different things that we do. And if it's an upper back, there's a lot of joints in there. That's where that pain is. We knock those out in one day. Did that answer the question?
Yes, I think you answered the question fantastic. You know, the problem is, this is just me. This is just me. So if anyone wants to yell at me. I think people listen to their regular general practitioner who tells them to see either a chiropractor or an orthopedic surgeon. And because that doctor has been a friend of yours or someone you golf with, you kind of believe him and you go to the orthopedic surgeon. I'm not saying orthopedic surgeons are bad, but the word surgeon means that that's what they do. But as a individual who's in his upper 70s, I feel that, you know what, second and third opinions are valuable before someone's going to cut into me. That's what I'm saying to people, that before you do anything, seek a second opinion. Why get cut and have to do medicines all the time? Is Dr. Pannozzo the greatest in the world? I think he is, because I've seen what he did for me. I'm a patient. The gentleman sitting in my seat, which I hope he cleans after he leaves, because I'm a nut about germs.
I'm not the one with the mess of groin, my friend.
You're just a plain nut.
I mean, one of the producers up at the Treasure Coast who did our show, short him and his family members, people that I've sent who have gone there have all said, freaking guy is amazing. Well, they used different words, but they said, guy is amazing. I don't understand this guy. The lady that I've seen from England, I mean, these are stories that if you actually look at them, you start crying, because you can't believe that this guy, Dr. Anthony Pannozzo, can do this. So all of you people, I'm going to give you another website, because I'm here as a voice of reason. I'm going to spell this out. EDZARERNST.com, who is a professor who has studied everything there is to know about cures and medicines. And I want you to go to that site, especially if you go to chiropractors. Am I saying chiropractors are bad? I'm not saying anyone is bad. I want you to go to this website, and one of the things that out of the 20 things why he says people should not go to chiropractors, he said their legitimate scope is very narrow, and they are not medically trained to find out where the cause and effect of what you're going through happens. What are things that I've watched?
You have another
Dr.
question?
Pannozzo finds out the cause and the effect of your illness.
Do you have another question, Les?
We just got a tweet in here. Allison from Facebook tweeted, I saw what you did for that gentleman with migraine, so she's been to your site. I was wondering if tennis elbow is something you can fix. Now, we haven't had a tennis elbow question in a while.
Yeah,
I've had it for years and nothing works.
Yeah, tennis elbows are really easy to treat, especially with the C-arm, because you can actually see it. There's two aspects of the elbow that you have to know. One's muscular. That's when you drop things, you can't hold a gallon of milk, like that. The other is ligament, where you can't open it. It won't stretch out, and those are all treatable. And they're different structures and treatable different ways. So, yeah, we do that.
Inflammation in the joint playing tennis, is that what they call it? Yeah,
well, it's a ligament structure, and as we're treating it, it comes right out. I mean, it's really remarkable stuff.
You and I
not
both know, Freddy, that's helping us. That's going to be working on with us on Fox Sports, where they'll be able to see Dr. Pannozzo a lot. Came in with a tennis elbow.
Oh, really?
And he gave, I think, 2 shots, and he calls me up, and you know the way he talks. He says, "Hey, Wes, this guy is really freaking good. Now I'm actually beating the lady that's been beating me for 6 months." So this is a guy that had it, I can mention this guy's name because he's actually called you up on the show. Troy Stratford, who has called you up on the show, so I can mention his name. He gave me permission to. He said, in all the years of playing football for the Miami Dolphins, I was beaten around, knocked around, and had this done. The only time I got relief that went away was when I saw Dr. Pannozzo. Now, can you get a bag? Do you remember when we first started? Doc, he called up and we didn't know who he was. I said, "You sound familiar." He said, "This is Troy Stratford." I mean, could you imagine an NFL player? We know one that you treated and promised you a Lamborghini if we had known you a year sooner.
That's true.
I mean, we know that all of this stuff that you're doing works.
Oh, absolutely,
Do you have any more questions there, Freddy? Because I still got a bunch. You want me to keep going?
Keep going.
Okay. Ace from Twitter writes, I have diabetes and suffer from neuropathy. I take so many different types of pills for the burning in my feet. You can't cure diabetes, but is there anything you can do about the burning in the soles of my feet?
Well, the real neuropathy, read the description of it, if you have a book, is a dying back of the nerve, not a pain of the nerve. Mm-hmm. So I think those are misdiagnosed. There are other reasons for the pain, but it's not a true neuropathy, as far as I know, and we've been treating it for 50 years. It's a dying back and is diagnosable because the nerve conduction study slows. So you need a nerve conduction study, and it better be slow before you make a neuropathy diagnosis. And, the people out there treating that are unaware of the musculoskeletal aspects of this kind of pain in the feet. And I see that commercial every day. I'm about ready to throw something through the TV.
With the new pill?
And it's wrong, and it's a lie.
The new pill that
on and on and on. What?
The new pill that cures the neuropathy pain?
There is no cure
But
for
did
that.
you see the new pill? It's all over the commercial. It drives me nuts.
No, it's just misdiagnosed, and I don't know what to do about it. All I could do is what I'm doing now, which is information. I'm giving you information.
Well, what about if you have inflammation in the feet itself? That can come from a number of places.
Well, there's
right?
a lot of places in the feet that are painful.
So if you have diabetes, you think it's a neuropathy?
You think it is, and
well, you have diabetes, right?
Those unaware will diagnose that.
Well, that's what Doc did for me. He took care of the inflammation in the back of the foot. But I can see why people would think that, Doc. One of the things is always neuropathy, and it's inflamed.
Not everybody's trained or goes through the training program to diagnose these things. And if I was a doctor like that, I would just say, go see this guy because I don't know anything about it. Admit it,
So if you want to see this guy, you can call him at 561-381-5800. And don't be surprised when he answers the phone himself, because he prides himself on finding out what you have, so he'll be prepared when you walk in his office. That's 561-381-5800. And it's Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. It's Pannozzo. So let's see. I have another question here. Let's see. Jose writes from Lincoln, I'm an executive with a major firm and asked to fly all over the world, sometimes for 10 hours at a time. I had knee replacement surgery, and my leg still hurts a lot, especially after I fly. My question is, can this be fixed, or is something I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life?
Inflammation?
No, all it is scar tissue.
Right. And
if you have a knee replaced,
you can take care of that.
If you have a knee replaced, you don't have a knee anymore. You have a piece of metal. So what's holding what's holding that together is scar tissue. It's all treatable stuff, and it's done rapidly, real fast. So no, there's no reason for anybody to suffer with that stuff.
There you go, and that's something very simple. They come in.
Yeah, the same thing with hip surgery. You get a lot of scar tissue around that. And,
well, I'm glad you mentioned hip surgery. Allison from Twitter writes, I've had 3 surgeries on my hip to fix the problem. Replacing it didn't take the first 2 times, and adjustments were made to make me more comfortable. The issue I'm having is that the pain has gotten worse, and now I'm in bed most of the time. I'm 54 years old and don't believe there's anything anyone can do for me now. Is it too late?
Well, where have you been? 3 surgeries on a hip? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm sitting here as I'm reading this.
People have to be a little more skeptical than that. The surgeries for hips are wonderful. There's nothing wrong with those. The end result is scar tissue around. You don't replace the hip for scar tissue pain. So she better get out of bed and get some care.
Could they have messed up 3 times?
Well, no, she's complaining too much, and they don't know how to evaluate it. That's what you get. They go in there and complain a lot. The patient does. And he says to himself, well, I had a great surgery here. X-rays are normal. Everything's good. I don't know where this pain is coming. Well, maybe it's a defect in the appliance, so replace it. But maybe they don't replace it. Because
well, you know that
why
old joke,
replace
Doc?
something like that? That's crazy.
The people wait for they wait at the hospital for the doctor to finish, and he comes out and he says, "Doc, how was it? One of the best surgeries I've ever performed." Says, how is he? He died.
So no.
That's not
great surgery, right? Okay, I got some more questions.
We got 2 minutes left.
God, you guys are really hot today.
We got 2 minutes.
Let's see.
He's reading the questions as he's looking for them. You believe this guy?
See, I've seen it. Ryan from VK.com writes in, seen the show, and I have 2 surgeries in 2 weeks for bursitis of the shoulder, rotator cuff injury. Dr. Pannozzo, can you help me?
Bursitis and
Absolutely.
rotator cuff injury.
Yeah, that was a short and sweet question,
problem
right?
with the shoulder is it's usually a connective tissue, not the tendon, which is a rotator cuff. That's a tendon. The treatments are different for these different tissues. The ligament structure is taken care of easily. You can make it stronger. Just exercise it out, and it'll get better. You can inject it out. It'll get better.
When I cue the music, you have 1 minute.
Well, as you always said to people, if you don't believe it, you go into any anatomy book, look at where the problems are, and see. I mean, let's face it, you've been doing this for a long time, and you're curing people. And again, I'm going to say to everyone, go to Dr. Pannozzo's office, sit there, don't even write your name down, and let people who you know or don't know tell you what this man has done for them. I think that's pretty good when you say that, Freddy.
Yes, and the last minute we have here is 16244 South Military Trail, number 740, Delray Reach, right across the street from
Walmart.
Military. Linton and Military, make a left. Hey,
So
listen, guys, it's been
after
great.
you have trouble walking, here's what you do. You go over to Dr. Pannozzo, let him take care of you, and remember, you do not leave his office until you are pain-free.
All right, Les, we got to get out of
You can buy
here.
some peaches on sale, you can buy some Chinese food on sale, you buy some ribs, and you can actually walk up and down the aisle.
All right, Les, we got to go.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day
Bye,
to you
everybody.
and
Doc,
yours.
I'll see you next week, and we'll go for lunch.
Okay. Let's
Bye,
take it
Freddie.
easy.
Bye, Linda. Bye, Colleen.
Goodbye, Les. All right, Dr.
Have a
Pannozzo,
good one,
enjoy
guys.
your week.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you next week, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
This has been the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour with Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. If you spend 5 minutes with Dr. Pannozzo, you'll see he genuinely enjoys helping others. Visit Dr. Pannozzo online at www.paincentersnationwide.com or call him at 561-381-5800. Dr. Pannozzo will consult with you to determine the best solution to your pain needs. 561-381-5800 is the number to call, even if it's just for a second opinion. Join Dr. Pannozzo next week when he brings you more important information on the physics of weight-bearing and engineer concepts for the body.
News, traffic, weather, every 10 minutes from 6 a.m. until 3 p.m. 12